I'm making two of those plant stands from 2x6 scraps and half of a 2x8 in an hour and a half, and I'll sell them for $40 each. Here's how I do it. I start by making my own 2x2s, with better quality than store-bought 2x2s, and much cheaper. I can make 3 2x2s from a single 2x6 that I pay $5.48, while 3 single 2x2s would cost a total of $9.84. Your own 2x2s will have sharper edges for a more modern look that buyers love. Here's how I make the stands. Start by cutting all the 2x2s to size. Follow the cut chart. This is for 2 stands. Divide by 2 if you're only making one. Make sure you're consistent on your cuts. Many buyers will want 2 of those for a mirrored design in their living space, and you want them to look the same. Only the 7-inch pieces will have pocket holes. Add 1 hole per side on one of their faces. The longer pieces have no pocket holes. To assemble the frame bases, pair 2 7-inch pieces together. Add glue to one end of one of them and align it to the middle of its pair. Clamp in place, then screw the pocket holes. Remove any squeezed out glue now. It will be harder to remove once dried. Trace a line at 6 inches from the bottom of all the remaining pieces. This will be to align them to the frame base. Add glue to the other end of the glued piece from earlier, and align it over the line on the 12-inch piece, then clamp in place. Screw the pocket holes now before we add the final 2 pieces at once. Add glue to the final 3 7-inch sides and align a medium and a long piece on either side, which doesn't matter, but be consistent between the tables. The glue will hold them in place while you install a clamp. Screw in place and put aside to dry, with the clamps on while you do other steps. Cut 6 7¼ inch pieces from the 2x8, giving you 6 squares. Find the middle of each square and trace it. The screw goes all the way through in this design, allowing the buyer to rotate the squares to their liking. The screws are hidden by pots on top. Drill the holes in the squares where you mark the middle with a bigger bit than the screws you'll use, so the squares can rotate freely. Use a screwdriver and screw to tap an indent into the squares. This will prevent the screw from protruding and touching the pots. Sand all the squares, making sure all sides look nice and smooth. I hand sand the frames, making sure all edges and faces are smooth. Pre-drill the holes at the top of the frames, using a smaller bit than earlier, so the screws are tight. I use the acrylic paint that has a primer in it, for less coats and a quicker result. I use the acrylic dark walnut colored stain for my squares. To install the squares, hand screw them into the frames with 2.5-inch deck screws. Do not over tighten, so the squares can be rotated without affecting the screw. I finished with acrylic polyurethane for protection against water and other abuse. Take nice photos with plants and go post on the marketplace. This sells fast and easily. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos and see you next time.